10 clash between the Central Queensland Capras and the Luxury Paints Ipswich Jets. Great to have you with us on Phoenix Radio, phoenix.com.au. Smith somehow right down the instant touchline, 12-4 the score. Well, the first attacking opportunity the Capras had.
Yes, this is After the 80. I'm Ben Willmott. Thanks for joining me. And on my co-host today is Anthony Bomber Breeze. Welcome, Bomber.
Pleasure, Ben.
Big weekend for the Jets. First win in 4 weeks. Didn't they need it?
Oh, yes, they did. After a couple of lacklustre performances at home, they went on the road and give it to one of the premiership sides up there in the sunny coast.
A good result. Well, we'll get into it more in a little bit, but joining me on the panel today is Francis Renouf from the Jets. Welcome, Francis.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for coming along. And we've got from Brothers Leagues Club, we have Jason Connors, the A-grade coach.
Thanks, Ben.
And Jason got your first win on the weekend as well.
Yeah, it was a good win on the weekend. It was touch and go there for a while, but we got the chocolates in the end, so very happy with the result. Very happy to see you get the win, that's for sure. Yeah, very happy indeed.
It was a draw in the first round against North, so it was a little bit disappointing to start off on that foot.
Yeah, it was, and it could have went either way in the end, but penalty right on full time got us got the other team to draw, and we're happy with that in the end. So.
Excellent to see. And Francis, big changes at the Jets at the moment. Still looking for your CEO?
Yeah, we're still looking for a CEO, so the recruitment process is going through at the moment, and hopefully have one soon. Yep,
excellent. Well, before we get underway, let's look back on the last few weeks of the season for the Intrust Super Cup. And here we've got the results from last week, and great result over the Sunshine Coast Falcons in Hervey Bay for the Jets. That's their first win in 4 weeks, and it's propelled them back up the ladder a little bit as well. Any surprises in the results for you guys?
Also, the Blackhawks game, they were down at half-time to Northern Pride there, 13-8 there, but obviously come home hard, and obviously they're the premiership heavyweights. They're the favourites at the moment, so...
Put them back on top, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And P&G there against Burleigh. Burleigh hadn't been travelling that well, and P&G went down there in the game, and obviously Burleigh turned up and...
Yeah, 2 points was the difference, And a surprise result with East Tigers pushing the Redcliffe right until the final buzzer as well.
Yeah, that's right. Scotty Sipple's got them going well down at East, and I really follow East a fair bit, and they nearly got the win there, but Redcliffe was just a bit too strong.
Francis, have you been a little bit surprised by how the Hunters have been going so far this season?
Yeah, they're a bit on and off. They're very hard at home. You know, as every team that goes up there finds it difficult. But you know, away from home, if they can be a bit more consistent, they are a real danger to the competition.
Definitely, they're almost like the Canberra Raiders with the stronghold at home.
Yeah,
now, stay with us. Right after the break, we're going to be taking a look at the Ipswich Rugby League from the last few weeks and the A-grade team's results. The Ipswich Jets came away with a win from Hervey Bay on the weekend. Let's take a look at the ladder of the Intrust Super Cup as it stands now. So what did you think, boys? The Jets move up on the ladder after a nice win on the weekend, and boy, did they need it.
Yeah, 4 points would have put them second last. 6 points puts them a long way up the ladder, so obviously another win obviously moves them up again. So, yeah, no, hopefully looking good now.
Francis, do you think this is a sign of things to come with the defending premiers back on track?
I think so. Like, we got a defence together on the weekend, and with Sunshine Coast were very lucky to get a try at the end. So, like, we know we can attack, and the defence has been letting us down. So, we've sort of got that back on track now, and hopefully we'll keep it moving forward. Well,
it took until the 78th minute for the Falcons to find the try line, so that must be encouraging signs from the defence.
Yeah, definitely, and I think the boys are disappointed in it too, which is a good thing. So having pride, you know, in keeping teams to 0 in 80 minutes of footy is a really good achievement, and so, you know, they were disappointed in not being able to do that.
And what do you think, Bomber? You impressed with that turnaround result after 3 weeks on the trot?
Yeah, I've watched them at home the last couple of weeks there. They've looked good in patches, and then they've just a bit of lax and all that there. But obviously they've gone up. Sunny Coast were going pretty good too. Like it wasn't the bottom sides. Sunny Coast were a good team with the influx of a few Melbourne players there that don't get a run for them. So no, great result. Like Francis said, 20-0 right to the end there, and only a late try. So.
And as a fellow coach, Jason, how do you think the Walker brothers will be feeling after finally getting that win?
Relieved, I guess. Because they know the potential in the squad, so they're relieved there with a lot of depth they've had coming through the ranks now through a few injuries. They still got the squad to win it and win those games, so they'll be really relieved, and they know the strength in their squad, so looking good for the future anyway.
Definitely. Well, moving on to the Ipswich Rugby League, if we take a look at the table as it stands at the moment, there was a good win for you on the weekend, Jason.
Yeah, it was a very good win. It's touch and go there for a while, but the Ipswich Rugby League competition is like winning and losing so small now. So penalty here and error here can win you a game or lose you a game. So I'm impressed to get off the duck and have my first win and a draw so far for this season. So it's going well.
Yep. Bomber, are you surprised to see the Swifts up on top at the moment?
Yeah, no, they've been the surprise packet of the competition, actually. I think a lot of people thought they'd go through a bit of rebuilding and obviously with their reserve grade side winning competition, they'd have to begin fresh and work their way up. But obviously, but on another point, there's a bit of a rumour, Francis, you'll be making your debut for Swifts. Any chance that rumour's true?
That's the whispers going around at the moment. I won't confirm or deny that just at this stage. Still got a train run to get through on Thursday and see how that goes.
Well, I suppose I'll have to get out there and watch you play defending premiers too. Not a good game to make your first game back.
Yeah.
It's always a challenge. It's always a good challenge to go out and play the defending premiers, and no matter who you play for, it's they're the benchmark, and as a club we want to be able to prove ourselves against the best.
Haven't seemed to skip a beat having Nobby come on board as the coach for Norths as well. They've started off quite strongly for a new coach.
Yeah, well, Nobby's always been at Norths there. He's went to Brothers there, but he's back now where what he probably calls home. So he's got the side there. They started a bit lackadaisical in the first game there. Got the draw, but I watched them last week. They're building very, very nicely. So they'll be the benchmark again.
Yeah. What did you make of them in the first game? Obviously, the draw wasn't the result you would have liked to get out.
I think we're up by 8 with 5 to go, and then on the 80th minute gave away a penalty that led to the draw. But Norths have always got good halves, so anyone with Roberts and Westy in the halves, they're going to be strong. But like I said, anyone can win on any given day, 1 to 6. So it's a pretty good, strong competition for the Ipswich Rugby League. And through the past, we've had some really good players come through and then go on to play at the Jets as well. So interesting to see what transpires in the next couple of weeks.
So if we take a look at the Ipswich Rugby League Round 1, we had the draw there between Brothers and Norths. And then in the second round, we've got the West End pulling out a nice win there. Oh, sorry, West End pulling out an unfortunate loss against the Goodna Eagles, who've been looking great from the first few rounds of the competition. They've had a few big injuries on the weekend, though, losing big Zach Lamberg. That's going to be a big blow to them. Yeah,
no, and obviously Zach's their go-forward man. He's their leader of the forward, so he'll be a big loss, but I'm sure they've got another big bloke will step up and get the go-forward for Goodna there.
You're preparing to take on Goodna this weekend, actually. So how are you feeling about taking on the big pack?
Yeah, big pack, and it's at night too, so that doesn't help. We like to play them in the heat, but as you see, a lot of those scores are high-scoring games, so I think we need to fix up a defence. Yep.
Have you been surprised by the high scores that we've been seeing from the first 3 rounds so far?
No, not really. Like as you said, some of the games have been in the sun, so it's a bit hot, and defence sort of goes on the wayside when it does get a bit hot. Mate, like. Defence does win games for you, and win your comps. So that's one, an area where teams need to strengthen up on.
Definitely. Do you think the colder weather coming through is going to help that?
No, yeah and no. Mate, fitness plays a big part in all of that, and whoever's got the supreme fitness is going to defend a lot better than most other teams.
It was always going to be hard to hit the ground running, wasn't it?
Definitely, and new combinations, new coaches, new teams, and so it's always got to be, feel your way through a few games, and then, you don't win grand finals in March, or April.
Well, the season opened in style for the Ipswich Jets with their season launch at the RAF Amberley base. Appropriately hosted the launch celebrations. Here is a quick look at how the night played out.
Of course, the Jets, as we know, are the best team outside the NRL. They proved it in the Intrust Cup where they wiped Townsville off the map, and then they went down and beat Newcastle.
I'm very proud of the Ipswich Jets. It's just wonderful to be here. They have really contributed a lot to the Ipswich community. They've done a lot to raise awareness about domestic violence and to send a really good message to a lot of young football players. Rugby League is one of the biggest sports in Ipswich, and I know that the Jets are role models to a lot of young up-and-coming players.
It's a new era for football, rugby league, and this is about getting our young kids involved, playing for Queensland, playing for Australia.
Okay. And coming up after the break, we have a full wrap-up of what's to come in this weekend's Ipswich Rugby League and Intrust Super Cup. So please stay with us. This is After the 80. After the 80. Now, they might have gotten the win on the weekend, but no doubt the Ipswich Jets are feeling the loss of Marmon Barber. Let's take a quick look at the crucial moment for the Ipswich Jets. And here he goes in the first minute of play.
They're very obnoxious. Wasn't really much in the tackle at all, but obviously the result says there was.
And straight away he's in a fair bit of pain. I know I was sitting on the halfway point and I could hear the scream from there. It was a very sad moment for Ipswich fans across the grounds. So, Francis, what does that mean for the Jets? Obviously, they got the win on the weekend, so you've still got some reserves there in the wings. Yeah,
absolutely. Like losing a player like Marmon Barber is huge. You know, someone who scores over 50 tries in 2 seasons.
Yep.
You know, he's got that flair, that confidence, and he's a bit of magic that not a lot of people have, and he has it in tons. However, we've got a couple of players there. In Josh Damon and Josh Robinson, who are yet to prove themselves on this stage, to be a Marmon Barber. However, they've got speed to burn and got a bit of footy in them too, so they can bring some unpredictability as well. Well,
Damon got a try on his debut as well. That must have been a special moment for him.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. He's come from South Slogan. He's played a lot of footy there, and he scored some freakish tries for them as well against us as well. So, and Josh Robinson, he's just. He's a footy player in all aspects of it, and he's got speed to burn as well, so just keep an eye out for him.
Yep. Well, we've got a bit of game vision from the Jets from the opening rounds. I think this was the loss against Townsville, unfortunately, but it was a great chip and chase. Pretty typical of the Jets' attack. Yeah,
and look at the Marmon just following up the middle. That's what the players that are coming in to replace him need to do as well. Just bop around and. And he sniffed a little gap and you're there through.
This bloke here too, Hayden Lip, he's stood up this year.
He's a football player, and that's in the true sense of the word. He's grew up with a football, all of his life, and just see he runs to the line with 2 hands and just puts second guesses the defence.
And played a fair bit for the BRL side before this as well.
He did. He was the BRL Player of the Year, and won a comp. So. He's been in the system for a while and understands the structure and understands the philosophies of the Ipswich Jets.
Now, before we get into our previews for this weekend, want to take a quick chance just to talk about Mal Meninga's Australian team selection that came out yesterday. What did everyone think of there's a few surprises in there?
Yes and no. I think Mal Meninga selected a really good squad for this game, and I reckon Australia will win. You have a look, they selected 3 fullbacks, but those guys like Greg Inglis and Josh Dugan can fit in the centres. So going on that, I think they've got an attacking side, and I reckon they'll win.
What about Sammy Radradra?
Sammy, yeah. Well, they're calling him Sam now, aren't they?
They call him Sam at Parramatta,
Yeah, mate.
Shouldn't be there, shouldn't be there?
Yeah, I reckon he should be. Only the reason, because he's a good footballer. I don't know about the controversy on nations, but as a good footballer, he's selected on football ability, he should be there.
Well, it was a bit of a shock for most people to see Sammy in there. He hasn't played for Queensland or New South Wales, which is usually the first stepping stone to making the Australian team.
And he's not eligible to play for them either, so... So I don't know whether he becomes the first player that can ever play for Australia and can't play Origin. So
yeah,
it does open up a big can of worms, because we want them players playing for Fiji and all that. But I suppose the rules are there, and if you abide by the rules.
From a selfish point of view, I think he will do a lot for the game in Fiji. Basically, by putting on the Australian jersey. You look at, you know, rugby union with Rococo when he played for the All Blacks, it was massive for Fiji in a sense. So they'll do the same thing for rugby league in Fiji as well, him playing in the green and gold.
You think it'll steal a few fans away from Fiji who would otherwise have gone for their own national team, which will now be barracking for Australia because he's in there, though?
Definitely not, mate. They'll be a passionate passionate country, and they'll always support the Fijian national side no matter who they play.
Yep. And for you, Bomber, it was good to see a Parramatta Eel in the team.
Yeah, good to see Sammy there. He probably is the best winger in the competition at the moment there. Like, he had a slow start to the season, but he's really picked up now. He's got that Fijian sidestep, they call it now, going really well. Michael Jennings also got he's just itching, waiting for an injury there to get back into it.
Yep.
But the player like I'd give a thing is Josh Maguire from the Broncos there. He's been playing really well after his injury this year. He gets to go forward, and I think that's what Australia needs, and obviously I'm happy for him.
Were you surprised to see so many Queenslanders named in the team, Jason?
Not particularly.
No?
It's a winning culture. Winning culture brings results. So I'm saying that Mel knows how they play. So I'm guessing that's the same game plan from Origin to national levels. So I think they'll do the job.
Well, 12 of the 19 players all came from Queensland, and 8 of those players play for either North Queensland or Brisbane. So do you think that's a reflection of them dominating the NRL ladder at the moment?
And you got Melbourne third, so you know, it's a reflection of Queensland's dominance and also the positions on the ladder for all the teams as well. Like, you got then you know, the top 3 sides are Brisbane, North Queensland, and Melbourne, who have a lot of Queensland players in it. So you know, the results speak for themselves.
Definitely. Well, it'll be an interesting test with Brisbane coming up against Cronulla. They're probably the 4th team in the running at the moment. You think that'll be a good matchup to see where they're at? Absolutely.
I think Cronulla has surprised a lot of people. But in saying that, probably haven't surprised themselves or the opposition because of the playing group that they have.
They've been known as a team with that's based off their forwards for quite a number of years, but to have James Maloney and Chad Townsend in there has really seemed to change the dynamic. Yeah, no, they seem to get him to go forward, and obviously when you've got Paul Gallen in the side, they're punching up the middle there. There was talk he wasn't going to make the side, but then last week Mel watched the game, 24 hit-ups, 250 metres, 45 tackles. You just can't leave the man out. No, as long as injury doesn't rule himself out. No, well, this is probably his swan song, I'd say. I don't know whether he'll be around next year and represent. He'll probably retire, so this is probably his last Test match. So, it is getting to an older team at the moment. Do you think after this year we might see a bit more of a transition into an emerging side? Yeah, I think it's a one-off Test match this year, so they can afford to just do that. Next year when the World Cup's on, obviously you're going to see a lot more of the younger brigade coming through. These young ones in the side now with Josh Maguire, Josh Papali's got his chance now in there. So, what about Blake Ferguson on the wing as well? With Blake and Sammy, it's a pretty big-sized couple of wingers right there.
He was playing fullback at the start of the year too, so it's another fullback on the wing. So, but obviously he's got trust in him. So his form the last couple of years has been all right. So I've got to say I was a little bit surprised to see him in the side. I think he's played consistently, but I didn't think he'd had such a standout for the first few rounds. But that might have had something to do with the young team that he's playing around at the moment.
I think so. Like, and you look at the combinations. Him and Dugan have played together before. They're both right side players. Probably the only other right side outside back that'd be unlucky would be Kyle Feldt. But in saying that, you look at the size of our outside backs; they're huge. Yeah, well, that's been another man that's probably missed out. Probably Corey Oates from the Broncos, and he's had a stormer this year. He's a big boy too, so big wingers these days.
It just shows who Queensland are going to choose. Now they should go with, obviously, Boyd and Inglis will play centre. They're looking at the national levels.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting looking at this weekend's games in the NRL. But first, let's take a look at the week ahead for the IRL. We've got some big matchups, and Brothers hosting Goodna. That'll be a big one for you.
Yeah, we host Goodna at home on Saturday night. The BRL play beforehand, so big occasion, and hopefully we get the win leading into that week off.
And You're going to be joined by the Jets BRL side and Colts as well, so it'll be a big game, big day at Brothers. Yeah,
it will be. Big crowd. It just shows, I think now next year, Freno can touch base on this, they have reserve grade, we're going back into the Ipswich comp next year. I think this is the last year there in the BRL. So it's good to disperse those players back into the Ipswich Rugby League.
Definitely. Well, taking a look at the Intrust Super Cup, we've got the Jets taking on the last place Cutters. How do you feel about getting a second win on the trot before your bye week?
Mate, even though they're last place, it's still a hard road trip, and you know, with some of the players that we've had out with injuries, it's going to be a tough test. Friday night's going to be good. It's going to be how, especially some of the younger players, step up to an away game too, how they travel, and you know, getting their preparation right as compared to basically a home game.
Having the bye week next week as well, do you think that changes the mentality a little bit? They know that they can just go flat chat for this game and know they're going to get a rest next week? Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword. Like, you know, they look, you could be looking too far ahead, looking for the week off. You know, you want to be in the moment, and I know, Ben and Shane will have the players primed for it, and you know, it's never. It's always good to get a win away. Makes the trip home a lot better. So,
especially a win at Hervey Bay as well, first time they've ever played there, and good to get the win in front of a new crowd.
Absolutely, and you know, definitely, like a 5-hour bus trip home. I think it took
a happy bus trip.
It made it a more enjoyable one. So I think it would have taken a lot longer than 5 hours to get home. But you know, the boys would have been in good spirits after a good win, so that's always a bonus.
You expecting to see Josh Damon and Robinson as well getting a call up again this week after that performance?
Yeah, they've been named for this week.
You
know, with Marmon a long-term injury at the moment, they've got an opportunity, so it's up to them to seize the moment.
What have you made of the form of Carlin Anderson as well? He's a little bit hit and miss with the kicking at the moment.
Yeah, I think Carlin's been a little bit down on confidence at the moment. But he's slowly starting to get back, and you know, once he gets his confidence back, he's going to be hard to stop, and hopefully pushing for a Bronco jersey.
Well, it's a good time for him to find that confidence with Marmon out. Time to shine at the back line, that's for sure.
I think everyone sort of needs to step up. You know, it takes. You know, we've got attacking weapons all over across the park, even their forwards. You know, we saw Josh Siege the other week score a 60-metre try, so we could score tries across the park. So everyone needs to put their hand up, not just some of the outside backs.
And what do you think about the Jets' 3 home games in a row after that as well? A good chance for the local fans from the Ipswich Rugby League to come down and support the team?
Yeah, well obviously the IRL and the Jets have got a good combination now. We like to, if we can help each other out. Like obviously the IRL likes to see their players have that next stepping stone up to the Jets there. So that's I just encourage them all to get out there. They're great days out there. The Jets do well around the community with their Harmony Day coming up against PNG. That's going to be a huge day over there at the Oval. So that's it there. So if you're not an IRL game, make sure you get to the Jets.
Yeah. And another big game for Brisbane and Ipswich is the Brisbane Broncos taking on the Cronulla Sharks this weekend. It's one of their rare Sunday games as well.
Yeah. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, down at Shark Park. I think they went down there last year and got the win. So, Sharks have got a good defensive record, so down there points will be hard to come by. But I think they'll get the job as well down there.
Where do you think Cronulla's going to finish up at the end of the season? They've been a surprise packet so far, but you think they've got the consistency to make it the whole way through?
I think the defence. If you look at the top 4 teams or 5 teams, the Sharks are in one of them because of the defence record. So defence will in the NRL get you up the table, and you probably will finish in the top 4. But like I said, it comes down to defence, and we touched on that before.
They've got a massive forward pack, so it's going to be a good test for the recently named Kangaroo, Josh Maguire.
No, they've both got a decent set of pack there. Like I said earlier, with Paul Gallen, he'll be leading the charge there. So, and obviously Michael Innes there, he'll be in there niggling away, and sure there'll be a few little dust ups.
I think the difference could come down to the backs, to the halves, and which set of halves step up. And at the moment, Milford, Anthony Milford
he's on hot form,
wide hot, and he's probably the best player in the comp by far at the moment. So if he keeps up his form, Broncos are going to be hard to stop.
You think it's an unfortunate timing that he's hitting this red hot form, as you said, and not being eligible to play for Queensland this year?
Oh, mate, they know the rules, and it's you know, it's sad for them. However, he's probably a year away from making it anyway, because, you know, we've still got Thurston and Cronk and, you know, Michael Morgan.
Yep.
But he's carried the form in from, you know, last year's grand final, where I thought he was the best player on the field, and he's carried it through a pre-season and into this year, so hopefully he keeps it going.
Do you think Brisbane will be missing Andrew McCulloch at hooker there? And Mickey Ennis, he's gonna be niggling around wherever he can. Yeah,
I think Nickareema's named in there. He's been coming off the bench, but
we've got Travis Waddell on the bench as well. He's a specialist hooker.
Nickareema goes all right. He'll do the job.
Yeah. He's been playing fantastic off the bench. Do you think that's you'd like to see him coming off the bench to still have that impact, or do you think he's an 80-minute player?
Oh, he's probably an 80-minute player there, but some of them other hookers, it's best for them to come off the bench. Like Sammy Thaida's the same too. He can go a bit longer, but Wayne's all got him off the bench.
Time will tell. Well, that's all we have for this week. Thank you very much for joining me, Jason and Francis, and Bomber as well. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching us. I'm Ben Willmott, your host, and this is After the 80. Thank you.